Ndị be anyị kelekwanụ m unu. Anyị sị ka nke chiri ya zelu. Anyị sị ka ọ mara n'ala Igbo na mma. Anyị adị ka Chineke ada agwụ agwụ. Otu anyị kwuru ya, otu akwa ya dịrị. Ise, ise, ise. Anyị dịka o si dị ụbọchị uhuruchi nketa anyị wetara nnukwu ozi. Biko geenụ ntị. Ife a bụ according to the Biafran activist wetara ya bụ ozi. Quote, ahead of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu'S upcoming case on 21st of March 2025, being Friday, hear what UN expert unveiled that is going to shock the Biafrans. Pay attention to this. Dịka ihe ga-ebi ife ụmụnne m, ị ga-echa ya drop ụra ifiche n'ụdị nke gị gbasata maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile o wetara anyị n'iru akwụkwọ ya bụ one of the Biafran activists wetara anyị. All right, over to you.
And the charges are read and all that, and the accused person studies it and is advised, then that's where the next road would be hit.
Yeah, but is there, I mean, from a legal point of view, and you can tell us, you know, tell the audience, many of whom don't have a legal background, given that the case has come this far, what would be the need for the submission of new sort of, you know, fresh arguments and all that sort of thing? I mean, you would have thought that it's all there on record, what the arguments that have been made are.
Yes, you see, by the time the matter is coming up, we do not know yet what charges will come up. The prosecutor has rights to
change
a lot of changes.
Yeah, because they've gone from treason to terrorism.
And then you see how the charges were watering down,
right,
coming down in number, coming down in the content and all that. So maybe a reflection may make it necessary. Either the charges are withdrawn entirely, because being assigned to another judge is not the same thing as you must go on with the charges. So the government has their power to say, no, we're done with this matter. We're withdrawing all these charges, or we're amending it, we're changing it, or we're increasing it, or whatever. So these are the possibilities.
Right.
But the most important thing is, by the time the day is done, we might be asking, what is the best way out?
Yeah, but for you, from your point of view, I mean, point of view, you being sort of the defense team, what would be the substance of your arguments in court when that case resumes again? Will it be along the same trajectory, that essentially this is an issue of freedom of speech and the right to pronounce that he wants self-determination?
I guess the team will toe the line on the basis of what they will see as the charges.
Yeah, they react to
whatever is the charges.
Right.
So it is the charges that will determine what will be the reaction. Certainly, because it will not be proper to start building a defense to a case you have not even seen.
Right.
Yes.
So let's suggest that this is going to take another pretty long time again.
Oh, certainly. Certainly, it's not going to be a Tea Party affair. It's certainly not going to be a Tea Party affair, because you are raising an issue that has a lot to do with the freedom of somebody, with the leading him to either imprisonment or so. So certainly it's not going to be a Tea Party affair.
No, we're not suggesting that it will be a Tea Party. I mean, the point is that he's already been incarcerated for a long period of time. And what I'm saying is that the longer the case drags on, the longer it wears everybody down, doesn't it?
Certainly.
Yeah, but your expectation is that it's going to drag on for some time still.
Our expectation is, my expectation is, posed on the line of some activities earlier, like the letter I'm talking about, is Probably, but the next adjourned date, or whenever the hearing notice is given, that we might go there and a different toll gate is taken, and maybe the case will be withdrawn and
Right. But you don't have any idea at this point when you're all going to be appear in court again.
I personally, I do not have, or I do not have the mandate to discuss it.
To disclose it.
Yes.
But you may well have a sense of when it's going to happen.
Just the court has the discretion.
Right.
Any day it wants, it will issue a hearing notice and say, appear before me.
Right. And is it your expectation, let me put it in a different way, or at the very least your hope, that the new judge will prioritize a fair and speedy trial?
Every judge is expected to be on the road of fair hearing, speedy trial.
No, but obviously that did not, in your assessment, the assessment of your clients didn't happen in the past with the previous judge.
Yes.
So that is why he wrote a letter, and the Chief Justice then intervened, and the Chief Judge of Abuja then, Federal High Court moved the case to another judge.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that, given that, is it your expectation that things will now move, given all the impetus behind it?
Yes.
That it will move on a new trajectory?
And the accused will certainly expect that, following the insights, what have happened in the past, that a new dawn will be there, and the matter will be moved in a more fairly way and in a more open manner and in a more speedy way. Right. So that's what we'll be expecting. But then what we're going to meet there, it will be assessed at the spot.
And what has been Nnamdi Kanu'S reaction to all of this? I understand you saw him recently.
I do. Yes, the reaction is, of course, he made a point, and I think he has had, the points have been looked into, and I think the reality we have now is that the government or the judicial, the CJN has seen a point to what he raised, and a new judge is assigned. So,
I understand there were some points he was making to you about things he wanted to clarify with the public or something. Is that a fact?
All he wanted to say is what is the best way? What is the best way to handle this matter? And that's why I wrote the letter I wrote. I did. Look, you see, Nnamdi Kanu'S issue is a nation-building matter. It's a nation-building matter. So it is not something that we must do in this squeezy way of handling it without looking at the bigger picture of Nigeria. We have to put the bigger picture of Nigeria into place.
Well, the government would argue that there are a number of issues here. One issue is arguably the wider political circumstances that gave rise to whatever it is that he did or said. The other one is the impact of whatever it is he said and did. And the government's argument is that the impact was one that created a restive environment in Nigeria, led to violence, and in those circumstances, if it is deemed by a court of law, to at least certainly the Attorney General, the prosecuting officers, to have led to the commission of violence and a crime, then obviously it would end up in a court.
Yes, I get what you're saying. But there's something I want to ask you.
So it's a matter of the determination of a court in that regard.
No, please. That's not all that needs to be considered.
No, I didn't say that's all that needs to be considered.
Yes, because
that's something that is to be considered.
Yes.
If it led to the commission of a crime or violence.
There is one point more. If you see the nature of killing that has taken place in Nigerian states, rendering so many of our citizens to be in IDP camps. The murdering that have been taking place. You remember the 70 people killed in Benue State, the 100 killed in Benue State, the all other states that were people, the aborigines were being killed. What has happened upon all these people? But the head of the Mieta Allah have been given a pardon. He have been freed. So when we're talking about what happened in Benue, Jos, Southern Kaduna, Taraba, where citizens have left their villages and now in IDP camp. What about those ones? But the people that really engineered these murderous episodes, have they not been granted knowledge by the Attorney General of the Federation? Then what about Sunday Igboho of the Odua state? How about it? You see, this question cannot be taken out of context. The most important thing is there is a problem. There is an issue. You cannot look these issues without looking the background.
Okay, let's talk about that background, because we've been talking so far, and I did say that we would get to the other side. We've been looking at the legal side of things. On the political side, there was talk from the Southeast governors, members of the National Assembly, etc., holding meetings with the president, holding press conferences, addressing Nigerians and so on, to try to urge the president to get his Attorney General to drop the case. Where do things stand on that front? Because up to just a few months ago, we were being told that, we saw the Southeast governors all get together and make an announcement they were going to meet the president. We saw people like Honorable Obi Aguocha, who represents him in the National Assembly. Nnamdi Kanu'S is from his constituency. They all came here and talked about all the mobilization that was going on and the fact that they had all these people who were working to try and speak to the political element of this and try and get some action in that respect. And then you yourself have intervened to plead directly with the president on Mr. Kanu's behalf. That's a kind of political intervention or the prerogative of mercy or whatever. What is the situation with all of that?
The situation is, as you have rightly pointed out, different well-meaning Nigerians, some of them left. Chief Ayo Adebanjo, he pleaded for the release of him. Ayo Adebanjo, nobody will say that he doesn't understand the political reality of Nigeria. He has seen it all. Chief Edwin Clark has made a lot of vital contribution to the growth of Nigeria. He knew everything about Nnamdi Kanu, and he put in a word before his death. Ezife, Chief Ezife, Ezife is a seasoned statesman. Before his death, he raised this issue. Is it Amechi? Is it how many of them? All these, plus many other ones, have pleaded because these people understand how Nigeria will benefit from if this Nnamdi Kanu's issue is handled in a political manner. Yes, there are accusations, but as my letter raised, these accusations is trying to solve effect without solving the cause. We are looking at effect without the cause. it is better for us to have a broader picture of what is the Nigerian problem and then start solving it from there. A situation where there is element of discrimination in treatment of different people, you are laying a foundation for that a job will not be easy to be finished. Because as long as the pain is still there, the friction will be there. It's not the first. I mean, you remember the Calabar prison? Calabar prison. You remember the people that came from the exile? All these came and yet contributed to the growth of Nigeria. I want to let you know, yes, Nnamdi Kanu, you saw him talk this, there's explanation for that. But the most important thing I want to let you know, and that
ndị be anyị ngwadalụ nnenu asị m ka ọ dịla anyị nchanye na mma ka ife were ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile one of the Biafran activists kwụ n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụdị nke ya ka ife were ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile okwu gasị drọpụrụ anyị iche n'ụdị nke gị na comment section bido ana ọzọ dị ka ịbịa bụtụsa ya bụ ozi ka ọ rutekwa ụmụnne anyị ndị ọzọ n'ebe dị iche iche aka ka ọ dị n'ume Igbo.